That's right. I'm back again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the breakdown, episode 615. And if you're watching this commercial, you are watching the Gemini Bitcoin credit card commercial. That's right. Gemini's Bitcoin credit card, which is issued by WebBank. That's right. Instead of points, get Bitcoin. Purchases 4% back in Bitcoin, not in points. They also got the XRP credit card. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the XRP credit card for all the XRPers out there, the XRP army. Get yourself a credit card from Gemini, which is issued by WebBank, and get 4% back in XRP. And for all the salami guys, and I mean Solana heads, Gemini got that Solana credit card. That's right, issued by WebBank. Always got to put that in there. Okay. 4% back in Solana. Who doesn't want that? Go to Gemini.com/David G for more details. Terms apply. Not everybody's going to get approved. Half of you guys have no money or a credit score. But anyway, if you do have a phenomenal credit score, go check out the lineup of credit cards that Gemini does have. There you go. There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I did the voiceover, and I'll be boycotting I will let it be known that I want a goddamn ad with a voiceover in it with some music. And I want some Latin music. Okay? Welcome to the breakdown. That's right. I hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope you had a very, very good, very. Should I say like this? Should I say like this? Like this? Am I good here? Am I good like this? Am I good like this? Hold on. Y'all watch a commercial break real quick. Let's see. Am I good? I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I think I'm very good. Anyway. I see Landy's in the audience already. He's probably praying to the gods that Bitcoin goes down. Honestly, like I'm happy that the market is looking better. Okay. I'm happy that the market is looking better. But now you have the bears talking about the 200 moving the 200, the 200, the 200, the 200. Every post is 200. By the way, James Wynn. James Wynn. Let me tell you something about James Wynn. Before we get going, by the way, we got Thor coming on. He's going to talk about we're going to talk about Zcash. He's been making quite a fuss out there on social media talking about, I want to ask him this question about Zcash and Bitcoin. I'll read out the tweets when he's here. But James Wynn, this is wild. First of all, I haven't even spoken to this man. Like I have not engaged with him at all, right? But for the last few days, this guy who got liquidated for 100 million. Let's put this in perspective. He can't put a sentence together. Okay, let's. I wish I had a whiteboard here. You know what? I'm going to get a whiteboard. Besides, in the next few weeks we'll have a different background here. I'm going to get a whiteboard because I like to go over and like map out a scouting report. I don't understand a word he says. Okay? I don't understand a single word he says. Not a single word. Okay? Not a single word. I didn't start with him. I didn't say a goddamn thing about him. Not a goddamn thing. I mind my own business, man. You got fucking rats out here that continue to go ahead and talk about me behind the scenes, even former rats, frenemies and shit. I got those fucking DMs and text messages sent to me. Besides that point, I could care less about that. I just like to mention it so they know. It's wild. I haven't said a word to him. So what happens? I'm right after the sauna. Right after the sauna, I went into the sauna. I was chilling. By the way, I did a 5-day fast. You see how my skin looks? It looks remarkable. The reason why it looks remarkable, because that is one of the effects of fasting. I did a 5-day fast. 5-day fast. Because I got to make sure. I got to make sure I keep looking good. But here's when he's lost $100 million, bro. And he's out there shorting the market consistently. He longs the market when he's just short. Like it is a complete disaster. The same way he can't put a goddamn sentence together. So I'm like, yo, listen. He attacks me on one of my posts. He takes a shot at me. Okay. So I say, yo, why don't you come on to my show? I literally said that. Why don't you come onto my show? Let's talk about where the markets are going. Just because I don't pull up the charts and I don't get technical here, that's only because a lot of you guys still won't understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So I stay away from that. I keep it FA and PA. Regardless, I said, why don't you come onto the show? Why don't you come onto the show? He said, I'm coming. And then 3 minutes later, it's like, well, I'll only come on to your show, which is one of the most highly rated shows out there. He said he'll only come on if I follow him and subscribe to him. Are you fucking crazy? That told me everything I needed to know. A man is telling me to subscribe to him. What is happening? I was, and then today I was like, yo, why don't you come onto the show? Why don't you come onto the show? He's like, nah, I'm not coming on. I'm not coming on. That's fine. I don't really give a fuck if you come on or not. I just want you to come on and explain to me how the market, how Bitcoin is going to zero. I was really intrigued because if you can go ahead and lay it all out for me, maybe I'll take on a short position. But seeing your track record, 0 and fucking 246, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about that. I'm telling you, man, I am telling you, there is something in the water where these low T son of a bitches continue to want to get at me, not understanding I am from New York and I can give a fuck less. Like, we walk through the streets. You understand what it is to grow up in New York City? I get cursed out all the time. Okay, I walk by, I got a crackhead trying to assault me. You think I'm worried about a crackhead on social media? Just like, I want you to think about that for a second. Think I'm worried about being trolled or harassed on social? Not worried at all. In fact, I want more. You know why? Because when Elon sends out the checks, guess who gets paid? Me. I get paid more. When you troll me, I get paid more. That means I could take my money and put more of it into the goddamn market. Some of you, I gotta tell you, I can understand why some of you guys are filing for bankruptcy or filling out applications to McDonald's. I can see it. I can understand why a lot of you guys are asking whether you want regular decaf at IHOP. I can understand why. Honestly, I started thinking about this last night. Some of you guys should have been swallowed. Anyway, episode 615. The government's reopening. Trump's talking about $20 trillion going into the goddamn markets. $2,000 checks to those who are making $75,000 and less, and that's retail. Oh my Lord, what are we in for? 50-year mortgages. Why is everybody upset about 50-year mortgages? I'm not. If there's no prepayment penalty, why the fuck do you care? Who cares? More people can get a goddamn house. Honestly, look at it. Look at it from a different standpoint. It's like renting. It's like you're renting right now. So what's the difference? Anyway, let's get right to the program, right? I don't know why I'm ranting this morning, but I guess I didn't get my rants out. 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, I was pretty much mellowed out, chilling. Anyway, Thor's with me. Thor, what's going on, brother?
Hey, what's good, bro? How are you?
I'm good, man. Nice to have you on the show. I see you've been making your rounds around social media. And also, I've seen you on my timeline going crazy about Zcash. So I already had Mert on here. I thought I might as well just bring you on because you're going heavier than he is, and that's wild. That put that in perspective. You're going heavier than Mert is. What's
Yeah.
what got you into Zcash?
I first found out about Z. Oh, by the way, thanks for having me on. Great to meet you, brother. Um, I first found out about Zcash around 2017. Believe it or not, Gary, the numbers guy, Gary Grinberg, shout out to him, the numerologist. He was the first one who put me onto it, and he loved it because it was founded on the 28th, which is the number of wealth to him and to the GG33 students. And I said, well, that's cool, let me look into it, right? Because that's one piece of the pie. That's a tool on the tool belt, but let me actually kick the tires, look under the hood, and research it. And then I was in Manhattan one day at JP Morgan as a private contractor working on a video shoot. And they had this news article that broke May 22nd, 2017, that they were very interested in zero knowledge proofs and that Zcash had implemented zero knowledge proofs into a cryptocurrency coin, and how it was what was the missing piece of Bitcoin. And I said, well, all right, Gary the numbers guy, check. JP Morgan, check. Let me keep looking into it. And then I found out that some of the founders, particularly Zuko Wilcox, not only was he the first man to ever write a blog post about Bitcoin, but that Satoshi Nakamoto used to link to his content. So I said, all right, well, that's bullish. And then it came, brother, to a simple thing of Bitcoin was a public ledger where everyone could see my balance and see my transaction history. And it was pretty expensive, right, at the time, way less expensive than now. And then Zcash was 21 supply, but no one could see my balance or transaction history. So I said, well, it's just a matter of time. And if this is going to evolve how Web 1 evolved from HTTP to HTTPS, open sourced, I see your computer, you see my computer, we're all computer nerds and nobody cares. Then the world came online to www, and it was like, oh crap, I can't put my credit card number in because now everything's open sourced. So I said, well, I think Web3 and crypto will evolve the same way. So I got entrenched in the community and I just started slowly investing, dollar cost averaging every week. Went to a few of the conferences, went in the forum, and then I realized, like, wow, these guys have some of the top cryptographers and engineers and mathematicians in the world working on the project. And in a cycle where it was just memes and NFTs, which I was speculating on, right? I was having fun in the NFT game and the meme game. I realized, like, it's just a matter of time before these public ledgers are pretty much obsolete. And kind of how the .com bubble went, we had these websites like pets.com, Priceline Negotiator, remember in the late 90s,
Yeah.
and they had these extreme valuations, Super Bowl commercials and all this. And then that bubble bursts, and it was like 5, 10 years later that the Amazons rose from the ashes. So I'm like, well, history often repeats, and it definitely rhymes. So I'm just going to keep betting on this. I got a phone call. I'm back.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to keep betting on this thing, supporting this thing, and I think eventually the market will catch up. And I think we've reached a tipping point recently where you're starting to see a lot of other people wake up to the reality. About a month ago now, Naval did a tweet. He said Bitcoin is a hedge against fiat, and Zcash is a hedge against Bitcoin. Must have got like 3 or 4 million impressions. And that combined with Singapore 2049, that combined with Mert, the Winklevoss brothers, huge supporters and tweeting about it, the Grayscale Trust, and this new Zashi wallet, you're kind of seeing a perfect storm brewing where private unstoppable money has now reached unstoppable liquidity with the near protocol, and people are starting to get really bullish, and you're starting to see a lot of hate and a lot of FUD on the timeline, which is a la 2013 with Bitcoin, man. It's like, Yogi Berra says it's deja vu all over again. Like, to me, that's making me even more bullish of like, wow, they say, well, Thor, why are they mad at Zcash, but they weren't mad like at ETH and Solana and all these memes and NFTs? I'm like, I think they're mad because it actually has a legitimate threat to be a top 3 token, which is what we've been saying for a while.
Okay.
I hope I'm still
Obviously,
here. Am I still on
you
this
know,
thing?
yeah. You see me or no?
Uh-oh. Is it
Go ahead and
Can you guys hear me?
reset it. Reset it. No, 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 no. Don't do it like that. This is what you get when you're live, folks.
Oh no.
This is what you get. So you don't
I think
panic.
I'm
I just
here.
want to explain to media personalities out there. You see me now? Okay. He'll be back because he just needs to, I don't know what happened. Phone call obviously messes everything up. But this is what happens when you're a media personality. You just relax. There you go. He's back. Thor is
All
back
right.
with us. Welcome back. It always
Where
happens
did
when you get a phone call. It always fucks everything up.
Yeah, where I got some annoying people blowing my phone up. From
Yeah,
now we're
you
gonna
gotta put it
where
on
did
do not disturb right now, man. You just gotta make sure,
Okay.
like, you get nothing coming through here because that will happen once again. Listen, I'm cool, calm, and collective. I don't
Yeah,
get I love live shows. I hate recording, even though I have to record, but I hate recording. Okay, so you
yeah,
understand where the beef's coming from because when you're saying, well, I don't know particularly if you've said this, but when people are saying, well, Zcash is going to take over for Bitcoin, that's
yes,
where obviously the beef's coming from. Like you have Bitcoiners that have fought forever, to go ahead and do grassroots marketing, all that stuff to make it what it is today. Like the industry, the
yeah,
first thing people say when they hear crypto is Bitcoin, right? So it's kind of like when you're going at number one, you know, the father of all the shit, which I really, we that's what I call the father of all this stuff. When you go after it, you're going to
yeah.
get that response. So I mean, privacy is a big thing. I know Satoshi Nakamoto did, state that um, on forums, but that's the beef, really. That's what it comes down to. Do you guys really think that Zcash is going to topple Bitcoin?
I personally think eventually, and I wouldn't say topple, right? I think there's a few different
Or let's
scenarios.
say overtake.
There's a few different scenarios, right? Obviously, like you said, Bitcoin is the OG. It's the first to market. It's not to be disrespected, right? And there's a fine line between like disrespecting and then being honest and being truthful, right? And when I see, what was happening over the last several years, we had cheerleaders, we had promoters, we had marketers. They were very loud, right? We have some people who are billionaires from the tech world and from the real estate world who are championing this technology that they didn't come from that world, right? So what I said was like, well, I'm not going to listen to these promoters as much. I'm going to start listening to the cryptographers and mathematicians at MIT, at John Hopkins, at UC Berkeley, at Tel Aviv Institute of Tech. I compare it to like, are you listening to Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd for your game, or are you going straight to Michael Jordan and LeBron? And what was happening was the LeBrons and the Michael Jordans and the talent, they were very quiet and they're very humble and they're in the background just working and they're very much saying like, hey, I don't know if this is the solution and I don't know if this is going to work. And what I saw is a lot of these guys were Bitcoin maxis, and that's what ended up making them shift and pivot and start working on Zcash and encryption, because the word crypto literally means hidden. It literally means secret. And when you go to those early days of 2010 in the Bitcoin forums, you see Satoshi Nakamoto saying, hey, how can we add more anonymity to Bitcoin? And how can we add zero knowledge proofs? And they couldn't at the time because they didn't know how to yet. And then in 2016, you see a lot of these top cryptographers, engineers, and mathematicians join forces and do just that, a few years after Satoshi disappeared. So listen, there's a few scenarios, right? We got a list of potential flaws and catalysts. Quantum being one, right? Satoshi moving coins is another. But or another catalyst could be someone just getting doxxed and exposed on the public ledger for maybe they did something nefarious or maybe so I want to take more of the ethos of the developer community, right? I'll give you an example. The devs in Monero and the devs in Zcash, these guys get along. They bounce ideas off of one another. They collaborate. They talk about how can we make your project better? How can we make our project better? And they know competition is such a healthy and necessary thing where it's like us in the community and us marketers and us KOLs and everyone on Twitter is like a cafeteria food fight, right? Hell, my thing's better and your thing sucks. To the point where this week, when Zcash got a bunch of buzz, you literally started seeing people personally attack, one another. And I think we should take more credit from the devs and the engineers and the mathematicians of how they go about their business and how they move. Of hey, may the best product win, right? And if we are living in a world where Bitcoin is the future of finance, where Bitcoin is how we transact, we are living in an Orwellian nightmare. We are living in a surveillance state. We are living in a world where we can be tracked, where we can be judged, where we can be, yeah, they say Bitcoin fixes this for this unbanking problem, but in many ways it doesn't fix it because you still don't have consent. And now with addressable, Nansen AI, Arcom intelligence, it's not going to be long even before ChatGPT where you could put an address in and it's going to say, hey, this guy lives here. He's this old. This is his birthday. And this is how much Bitcoin he has. So I think that's why you're starting to see a lot of people hedge. And listen, just because we were fooled doesn't make us a fool. What happens is, when you get pot committed and you place that wager, and then you get under these wraps of this sunken cost fallacy where you have blinders on and you don't want to admit that maybe 20 years later, there actually is a better tech, there is a better solution. And maybe, just maybe, that was the beta test run and the prototype, which can always be a store of value and be like digital gold and still have a place where it goes to $1 million a coin. But when we talk about the future of digital assets on chain, we have to talk encryption, we have to talk privacy, because the Fourth Amendment, right? No searches or unreasonable seizures. So I think that's an important part of this whole conversation where we don't have to like fight one another each other. There's a world where everyone can and should win. And this competition is healthy for all markets, as you guys know. What I think and many others think now, even in this 1,300% up on a year, I still think Zcash is extremely undervalued. And, if you scour Twitter every day, I can tell that people still, computers are hard to understand. Money is hard. Most people don't understand computers, and most people do not understand money. Now you've combined both of these things, and you got a bunch of Monday morning quarterbacks of like this, that, this. And I'm more like, hey, not only do I not know, but I'm going to pay attention to the people who are the most likely to know, the most talented cryptographers and mathematicians in the game. And I think we need to take more of that approach and realize and learn from history. Really, like we are in 1997 in the analogy of Web 1 to Web 3 as far as usership. Only 7%, 6 to 7% of the world actually even invests in crypto. So that analogy is like 1997 of the World Wide Web. So once the world continues to come online to blockchain and Web 3, I think it's going to evolve the same way. And I think it has to. I think in a few years, David, we're not going to be calling this a privacy coin. We're literally going to be calling it the standard. Oh, of course, we use zero knowledge proofs. Look at our web browser right now. We use HTTPS. Nobody uses HTTPS because it's cool or because it's popular or because a KOL told us to. We use HTTPS literally so our entire fucking sensitive data doesn't get robbed from us and we don't get hacked and literally stolen from. So I think it's going to evolve the same way where, oh yeah, of course we use zero knowledge proofs. And then that should also come with a asterisk and a caveat emptor of if you're investing in a public ledger, if you are building on top of a public ledger, you should be very conscious and aware of this. And what most projects did is they put UX and utility first. They put usership first and marketing first. And then they said, oh, later we'll worry about the tech. Later we'll worry about the encryption and privacy. And what Zcash and the devs and the engineers and mathematicians did, they said, we know you have to put tech first. You have to put privacy
All right,
first.
so
You
let me
have,
ask you this,
yeah.
Thor. If hypothetically speaking, because there are protocol, but let's go ahead and say Bitcoin fixes that issue, fixes the privacy issue. Let's say that comes out, we fix the privacy issue. What happens to Zcash?
Well, it's very hard, you know what, and we need someone on the show who's way more versed in this to me. But what they're saying, what the cryptographers and mathematicians and engineers are saying, what the OG Bitcoiners are saying is, it's too late, and it has to be built in from day one on an L1. And it's kind of the analogy I use is, you know, going into Times Square naked and then putting your clothes on after everyone's seen your private parts, right? And then the other component of that is Bitcoin's kind of ran by charity. You know, you have a bunch of different devs, all decentralized. That's the good thing. But you have a bunch of different devs scattered around in argument, not knowing what to do. That's the bad thing. Whereas one of the FUD and the criticism against Zcash is that it's a little bit centralized because they have the ECC, they have the Zcash Foundation, and the Zcash community grants, and they had this thing called the Founders Reward, where money was going back to the devs and back to the projects and back to some of the initial VCs. And to me, when I saw that, that actually made me even more bullish because I said, well, these guys are about to have a network effect where they're able to recruit the top talent in the world. And if you look at the list of people, Sean Bowe, Ian Myers, Matthew Green, Daria, Zuko, you look at the team, it's like a dream team of cryptographers, engineers, and mathematicians, and they've been able to attract this talent just for that very reason. So, you know, you could go into some of the Bitcoin forums and into the community and have these conversations and kind of catch the pulse of, you know, oh, okay, we privacy is important. Okay, we do have to add it. Okay, well, how do we add it? You know, and they say, oh, use this L2. It's not sustainable and compliant when the world comes online. It has to be L1, it has to be seamless, and the UX has to be super friendly and easy where, you know, our aunt and uncle and grandparents can use this thing.
Why Zcash over Monero, or are you in
So,
both?
so listen, I say, you know, get you some both, look at both. For me, Zcash over Monero was just always, it was first zero knowledge proofs versus ring signatures. Zcash uses zero knowledge proofs, which again, the experts are all in agreement that that's a superior tech to Monero. The argument with Monero is that it's private by default, right? Zcash has a transparent address and a shielded address. So it's the analogy is kind of like Venmo public, Venmo private. But because of this, Monero isn't as likely to get listed on exchanges, and it isn't exactly, you know, playing nice and trying to educate the powers that be. Where I'm not naive enough to think we're going to beat the bank and beat the government and overthrow the entire system for the same reason that most people want to live close to a hospital and most people want to live close to a school and most people need a trusted intermediary third party. You know, this is the reason Bitcoin was so low in 2011 and 2012, and that number started to go up once we had Coinbase, Kraken, you know, Gemini. So Zcash has been able to get compliant and regulatory approval because they're saying, hey, not only do we have this transparent address, but we have this viewing key where now if I'm audited or if a third party that's trusted it has a warrant or is asking to see, then it's my choice, right? I can just how it's my choice to lock my door at night and not let you in if I don't want to. Same type of deal. So for me, not only was the tech better with Zcash, not only was the team more talented, but I saw them, the organization wise, that they really were playing the long game and thinking ahead of everything that could go right and everything that could go wrong. Where Monero, you know, the argument's like, oh, well, drug dealers use it. And they go, well, no drug dealers use Zcash. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a bullish thing for me to invest in, like the drug dealer coin. You know, so I'd rather kind of go with the adults in the room coin who are giving us the best of both worlds. We're going to have our cake and eat it too. I can have my Zcash in the shielded pool. I can send David Zek to his shielded address from my shielded address, and it's just between me and him and nobody else. And I can also be more likely to have number go up and more likely to scale to the world because we're playing nice in the sandbox, if that makes sense.
Do you so the criticism has come, and the reason why I have to talk about these things is because I had random people on for the
Yeah.
last few weeks talking about this privacy, and I'm big into privacy coins. I like privacy coins.
Yep.
I was really big into them in 16. Dash, Verge, Zcash, Monero. Like I can name a bunch.
Yeah.
Um, but right now people are or this is the main thing, people are saying, well, who's paying these influencers to push Zcash? Do you
Yeah.
think there's influencers being paid to push Zcash? So here's my thing, and I'll say this before you answer.
Yeah.
Personally, and I don't give a fuck if this is a bad take, I'm sure
Uh-huh.
people will tell me this is an L take,
Uh-huh.
but I like the privacy sector, I like privacy protocols. So Zcash, whether you like it or not, has put a light on the privacy protocol sector. Monero, Verge, Dash, Midnight, whatever. I can keep going.
Yeah.
It's put a spotlight there. So whether you like it or not, it's people are looking over there. And also, I feel like real liquidity is going there. People that are tired of these fucking markets are just saying, you know what? Let me look into something that actually means something. So let's go over here, which also benefits Bitcoin some from some point of view. It does benefit Bitcoin because when the conversation starts, it's like I told you earlier today. Well, Zcash is flipping Bitcoin, so now you have all these conversations that are happening, and people are probably
Yeah.
getting into all these things or just observing. But do you think with the price just spiking it really did come kind of like out of nowhere in the last 2 to 3 weeks? Do you
Mhm.
think, and you can plead the fifth and stuff like that, but do you think that
No.
people are influencers or people are being paid to push it
No.
to the crypto ecosystem?
I don't think people are, I don't want to say I know for certainty because, I don't really know anything for certainty, but
I
I'm
think from
90
your standpoint, I know you
from
don't know,
Yeah, from
like
my
in terms of,
standpoint,
yeah.
I'm 99% positive that no one is getting paid to promote Zcash, especially no one's getting paid by Zcash or Electric Coin Company or the Zcash fund. You're talking about a project that didn't even pay Coinbase to get listed, which most people don't even know that.
So
You're
it's like
talking
more
about,
so like, would you make the argument then like people got like, and this happens with everything. People got in early, they're into it,
well,
they
well,
understand
there's
it,
a
and they're
tipping
and they're
point.
out there pushing.
There was a tipping point that occurred, right? First and foremost, it's on the same halving schedule as Bitcoin. So every 4 years, it goes through a halving. So about a year ago now, Zcash went through its second halving, and that's what I looked at for the past 7 years. I knew that once we went through that second halving, that there would be way less pressure on miners to dump. And just how Bitcoin went through that second halving, Bitcoin went from 800 to 20,000 a coin after that second halving in that next cycle. So in
You think
my
that
mind,
happens here?
I do think that happens here, and,
You
and
think this
maybe
cycle, you think like if you get in right now, it's $700-800. I don't know what it's at right now, but like if you get in right now, you think it has the potential to move like Bitcoin moved in 16, 17?
I think it does. I think it has potential to go to 10,000 and beyond, especially when. But back to the tipping point, we had a perfect storm brewing of not only do we have a zeitgeist, okay, of a surveillance state of the EU and the UK, and spying on everyone and privacy breaches and data breaches.
You
That
heard
was
about what the
one.
UK did, right? When you
Yeah,
lost that, the
which
UK's. I would run if I was in the UK right now.
bro, that's the advertisement for Zcash. That's like it's
It's
free
crazy.
marketing. And then you had Naval, you had Balaji at Singapore 2049. Then you had Mert, the CEO of Helios, the Solana Lord, come out of nowhere. You had the other guy. I hate that I'm forgetting his name, but he has a really good podcast. And then you had Arthur Hayes. Arthur Hayes came out and was like Zcash to $10,000 a coin. Naval shilled this to me. I put 2 million in, and I'm just going to research it later. So you had KOLs, you had a zeitgeist of a surveillance state, and dictators trying to say what we're doing. Then you had the halving, and then you had this Zashi app launch with near intents where you can swap from anything. So what you're seeing is a perfect storm brewing. And what I'm seeing is like a lot of us have PTSD from the meme cycle, right? Of, hey, what should we get into next? I got rug pulled. Oh, I got out. Now what are we rotating to? And people are hitting me up like, Thor, what's the next Zcash? And I'm like, Zcash is the next Zcash. And just how NFTs never came back, there's a chance most of these memes never come back. And there's a chance that Zcash just keeps getting adopted and they keep scaling and they keep evolving their tech. And if you look at the Tachyon project, Tachyon, that Sean Bowe is spearheading, you know, you watch Zuko and Josh Swihart, the CEO of Electric Coin Company, in one of their podcasts 5 minutes ago. They talk about this guy, Sean Bowe. He's a high school dropout who has literally solved two of the hardest cryptography problems known to man. It's almost like that movie Beautiful Mind with with
Russell Crowe.
where he's on the chalkboard
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
the janitor, and
yeah, yeah.
it literally it's a story like that. And then they're like, not only is he a brilliant mathematician who solved this problem no one could solve in 20 years, but he's an engineer who can just deploy it within a year to market. So you know the saying, bro, it's like bet on the jockeys, bet on the tech. I would take a very hard look at this market. The market is healing, the market is evolving. This is something that we're going to need, all of us, to help humanity, right? We could still speculate, we could still do memes and have fun. There's going to be memes and NFTs with zero knowledge proofs where you can have those in private, right? And that's something I'm really bullish on too, because an NFT is really just a digital receipt on chain that you're the owner right now, and you could buy or sell or trade that at a different price. Well, guess what? As the owner, you should have the right to privacy. Where if you own that asset, it should be between you and whoever you want. Not, remember Bored Ape and all these things where everyone knew who owned what, you know? And
Well, I agree with you on that in terms of, like at the end of the day, when the banks are more secure than crypto, we have an issue. In terms of like, let's say I had $3 million, I would
yeah,
not want know anybody. I don't want anybody to know I have $3 million because I become a target. I'm not talking about from the government. I'm talking about, I'm sitting at a red light and somebody says run your wallet kind of thing, and there goes the issue. I think
yeah. And if
that
you have a
we all should
multi,
have.
yeah,
These are good conversations because everybody should have privacy. 100%. Everything should
and
have, especially in
you
crypto.
And you could argue Zcash Shielded actually goes a step above the bank, because with the bank, with PayPal, with credit cards, they're also tracking us and watching how we spend our
Of
money
course.
and judging us and targeting us. So Zcash actually goes a step above that, where like,
Well,
yo,
credit cards do that all the time. If the
and
way you go ahead
Zcash.
and pay and pay off your balances and spend, they'll either give you a credit card increase or decrease.
That's why,
I
like,
get you.
to me, this was the coolest project, because to me, this was the Swiss bank of the blockchain, where it was like, mind your business, you know. And to me, all the other projects were temporary cool, but I was like, I'm not into everyone knowing my balance and knowing my transaction history. There's iterations and use cases where that could be good, like if we're holding governments accountable for their spending, sure, let's track them and watch them. But for a sovereign private citizen, if you're going to have privacy, there's nothing more important than transactional privacy and financial privacy. And if everybody's going to Signal to talk in private and everyone's going to Brave to browse in private, I was like, well, it's just a matter of time before people keep their money in private. Like, to me, that's even more important. So I just kept um championing it and talking about it. And never in a million years, though, did I think like my DMs would be flooded with people like, thank you so much, you changed my life. Because when number goes up, really, that's one of the most important things. Like,
Well,
who are
that's
we
when
kidding?
people start taking notice of anything.
Yep.
A lot of people don't give a fuck about privacy. Some do. So you'll
You
have
know
both
what?
in the
And
mix.
David, when people say they don't care about privacy, I like to say, all right, post your last 3 months bank statements as a public Twitter post. And then
They'll never do it.
you start to
Right.
see, oh, or the dude telling me he doesn't care about privacy has an anonymous PFP with some weird ass 5233,000
Which
username.
that is. It
It's
does
like,
it does make you fucking laugh. No, the listen, like a lot of cats came into this space like they're just looking for money. If you know what happens? A lot of people rush into this space. They're looking for money because they heard from their friend that they made money here
yep.
in you know in 3 weeks or whatnot, and they're here now looking for the same thing. And um, so if you're lucky enough to make money here, you then stay for the tech. I think that's what really does happen here. You make money here or you make gains and profit, you get into the right, protocols, utilities, or even memes, and you make money or a profit. You stay here and you start looking at what's being built. I think, but it takes time. I think it takes a few months before people take it seriously.
And
But
I think that's another tipping point we're seeing now. It's like if you missed Bitcoin's run from 500 to 100 grand, now people are starting to speculate. Oh, Zcash is 21 mil supply and it's encrypted and it's 600. Well, maybe I'm about to be part of another run to 100,000. Maybe this is Bitcoin 2.0, and I don't want to
well,
miss out on that.
I think that's what you guys have going for yourselves. Besides the privacy, privacy is a conversation where I see my chat here on both sides. They're going crazy about like Bitcoin and going back and forth saying Bitcoin. What
Yeah.
that's a conversation, but for a lot of people, they're like, I don't give a fuck. And this is the truth. Nobody gives a fuck. They're like, if this is going to pull off what Bitcoin did in 16, 17, I'm in it. Like that's kind of like their philosophy. So you have half of the people that are here just for the money. Money, number goes up, and then you have other people that are like, holy shit, this is pretty cool. I can get into this and keep my privacy. Though, I can make a case and say that, Bitcoin has the same thing and we can go back and forth and I can go into the Moneros because a lot of Monero, I got to tell you, I had a Monero person on here and two people actually, they were like, they want to say something, they don't want to say something. A lot of people don't want to go ahead and really, talk their truth, but I get it. But there
Mm.
will always be a war in this space. I'll say that, but it's good because there's, if it's meaningful, if it's being done in a meaningful way, then it's healthy competition, and that only makes our space better. So I'm not mad at anybody. I just want to see this space continue to level up. But I'm happy that, and I hope to get you on next time as well, maybe next month or two, to go ahead and from today in a month and a half or so, see where Zcash is at, and continue to go ahead and talk about where it potentially could go. And if it does hit or has the potential to hit that number three spot that you got, all you guys are talking about the number three spot. That's all I hear is three. It's like CZ's four. I hear three from the Zcash side. But I appreciate you, Thor, for real. I appreciate you coming on here. Keep killing it out there. I see you on the timeline. You just don't give a fuck. I love that. You're on the timeline, not giving a fuck. You're speaking your truth and your truth only. So I definitely admire that, man.
Thank you so much for having me on, brother, and keep killing it as well, man. I'm very happy that you invited me on, and I'm very grateful. And thanks for having an open mind and showing your audience all the possibilities. And healthy competition is everything, right? And we might have just entered a stage of privacy wars, and the true battle is not against one project versus another. The true battle is the people against the surveillance state, and we can't forget that.
I think we can agree on that. But my thing is that I just ask the questions. I let the audience come to their own conclusions. So I appreciate you for having the conversation. I'll have you back on literally in a month and a half to go ahead and revisit this conversation.
Can't wait, brother.
Thanks, Thor. Have a great day, man.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.
That was Thor. That's a cool fucking name, man. You imagine getting the name Thor? Imagine getting the name Thor, bro. I'm serious. Imagine having the name Thor. Bro, I'd walk around like I'd make people ask me what my name is, bro. I'd make people ask me what the fuck my name is. See, when I say David, people are like fucking lawyer. Like, yeah, they start right away. Right away, it goes into the Jew topic. Imagine Thor, bro, especially after, Marvel and shit, Avengers and stuff, walking around. If I was Thor, I'd walk around with a hammer. I think he's probably eligible to walk around with a fucking hammer. You imagine you have if my name was Thor, I'd drive around with a goddamn hammer get stopped by the cops, show them my license. They ain't doing nothing. They're not doing a goddamn thing. I'm here to protect this planet. We'll be right back after this commercial break. That's right. You are listening to a silent commercial from Gemini. I'm your voice. I'm the guy who's doing the voiceover now. Get yourself a Gemini Bitcoin credit card issued by WebBank. Also available, the XRP credit card and the Solana credit card, also issued by WebBank. 4% back in XRP, Bitcoin, or Solana. Terms apply. Okay? Terms apply. Go to Gemini.com/David G for more details. Yeah, there we go. Welcome to one of the greatest shows on the planet, ladies and gentlemen. You have the privilege to watch me every single day from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The breakdown, the podcast is coming. I wrote a tweet out today about numbers. I want to thank everybody for the numbers. You guys have been awesome. The new people that have started to tune in to watch me, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. I appreciate it. Hopefully you fuck with the stuff that is produced here. So shout out to you guys. More stuff coming. Really great interviews coming. Got a lineup, a big lineup. Uh, all right. We're gonna keep it on market talk, right? We just had Thor on, and Thor was talking about Zcash, and I see all the fighting on the timeline. Got the Bitcoin. Bitcoiners are active again. I like seeing the Bitcoiners a little bit active and being a little bit spicy, throwing hands. I like seeing them throwing hands once in a while. But Zcash is moving, and I think I think it's a good thing for the privacy sector. I've always liked the privacy sector, so I'm fine with Zcash moving. I'm fine with Monero moving. I'm fine with Dash and et cetera, et cetera. The entire group moving. You know why? Because though I love privacy, I love gains as well. Speaking of markets, let me bring in Kelly here. I've been waiting to talk to Kelly. Okay, Kelly needs to go ahead and tell me what's going on because I'm about to cry. Yo, Kelly, what's happening, bro?
Hey man, bull market's happening, or has the bull market even started yet? That's my question.
So that I wanted to hit you with that question. Are we just in the beginning of a bull market? Did we all get it wrong?
Well, I think there's been so much that's happened geopolitically and geoeconomically over the last 6 years, especially with the advent of COVID and the entire world economy shutting down. I think people forget that there's, the majority of all the money that's ever been printed has been printed in the last 6 years. I think it's still catching up into the market, but I got some charts I can go down and break it down for you. I do really think that it's an overwhelmingly confounding sort of market structure we're looking at, that I think a lot of people are getting trapped in this misnomer that we can look at the past cycles and think it's an absolute roadmap for what's going to happen this cycle. But at the same time, everything in the context of crypto within the global financial structures, and also everything that was against crypto, with the entire world with its foot on the throat of Bitcoin and digital assets, all of that has changed. So I think we need to look at things in a bit of a nuanced way now.
You think it was an institutional run to begin with?
I think I think one of the things everybody's been waiting on this whole cycle, especially if you look at the alts, everybody's been waiting on that next wave of new buyers, new retail to come in. But with Bitcoin stair stepping up, very slow, methodically, in some ways mind-numbingly boring, which is not what people want. They want that, those massive rips to the upside and, the opportunity there. And I think this being coupled with the fact that we had the token deployers launch this over the last 2 years as well, with Pump.Fun and Bonk, and millions of tokens coming out. I think that changed the shape of the retail that was or is here in crypto, but also burns out a lot of people. Kind of relighting that fire of the casino sort of considerations that people were thinking about crypto. Bitcoin has broken away from that, especially with the behemoths of the largest financial players in history getting into and backing different products and services within Bitcoin. But the altcoin market has yet to really deploy in all aspects of all the promises that were made. Ethereum kind of has, but they also changed from proof of work to proof of stake. Chainlink very much has, but it's also riding in the same narrative battles of everything else in the crypto ecosystem. And then people get into crypto because they think they can make it quick, and then they just get absolutely rugged and churn through the meme coin mill. So I think there's some maturing that's happening in this market. October 10th was a good indication of that, with the massive washout, but alts got wrecked and Bitcoin held above $100,000. I was speaking with Gary Cardone and a couple other guys the other day about that. In regards to that crash, in my opinion, it's one of the most bullish things that could have happened, to see the price respond the way it did in Bitcoin and hold. And yet it looks to me more like the markets were coordinating to clear the way for major market players, for Wall Street and all these other things to enter into the space.
Kelly, most people I speak to, they said this time around, before everything went ahead and went crazy here, they flipped into the altcoin market because they were like, you know what, my strategy is I'm gonna do what I didn't do last cycle. I'm getting into the altcoins, I'm gonna triple my money there, and then I'm gonna go into Bitcoin. Now they're waiting.
Well,
Now they're looking at this like, holy shit, did I play my hand wrong?
Well, let me see if I can find this chart really quick, because this blew my mind when I saw it, because I felt the same way. I've got some, I'm primarily in Bitcoin, but I've got probably as a Bitcoiner, I have too many alts. I do have a decent bag of alts. But when we're looking at the screen, like, can I share screen on this?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
So let me go ahead and just share something with you that blew my mind when I saw this. Share screen. We're going to go right here. All right, look at this. So this is the previous cycle. This is 2019 into 2020. And you can ignore the acronym, but just the run up, sell off, run up with the deviation above this previous resistance, a washout. This was a COVID washout and then launch. Tell me how different this shape looks. Run up, sell off, run off with the deviation above, sell off, similar. And then and I'm not joking, I had this red box. I've had this red box drawn since way over here. And I actually started talking about it on my channels. I was like, I'm not sure if this is going to get filled. And then what we get right exactly where I had it drawn, the flash crash, look at this, almost completely filled this box. So now I think what everybody's debating is, what sort of path are we going to get to follow through here? Are we going to get the 1, the 2, all the way up here? Nobody knows.
Jesus.
But if we just look at the shape of these two things, the only thing that's been really different is that it's a bit more extended. This back here was roughly, let's look at this, about 577 days, and this is about 700 days. So it's just an extended version of the same thing we saw in the previous cycle. So I think everybody's being a little bit impatient right now, because then when you get out of that and you look at Bitcoin and you realize on Bitcoin that what's the chart I wanted to show with you? That's not it. Here I had it. Here we go. The Binance chart. This is 15,000. This is up here 126,000. This is a clear bull trend. Rise, retrace, rise, right, higher highs, higher lows. But this is all in the face of quantitative tightening. This is all in the face of the business cycle contracting the entire way through, which this has always been the early portion of the bull market before the run up. So it's kind of like what we're seeing here is an extended version of what we saw early in 2016 into 2017 here, because once this bottom and moves up, this is where the real action begins, not to mention all the money printing that's coming. And then you got stuff like the Bollinger Bands. This is basically measuring volatility. We're at the most constricted, least volatile position we've ever been in the life of Bitcoin right now. And these tend to precede major moves. But then people ask, but all the whales are selling. Great. The whales are selling, but we haven't gotten, this is basically showing when you got a lot of whales selling into a market top. And what do you notice? These massive peaks that come in. We got an early one here. This is that run up before the halving, but this is very, very constructive as to where we're going, because we're seeing, yes, all those old whales are selling, but we also have massive institutions stacking up, setting a whole new anchor base for that next leg to the upside. So, and on the most recent time frame, this essentially, I'll keep it short here. This is, while everybody else is still questioning is this the top, or whales are stacking here. So my question for people right now, when we're looking at charts, great, we're getting a little bit of a run up. We have quantitative tightening that's been targeted to end around December 1st. We just got indication that there's going to be some form of stimulus, whether it's checks going out or credits or who knows, but something in that regard. The government shutdown's about to come to an end. And all this, I mean, you guys realize the government shutdown doesn't feel like it should be affecting markets. The government federal spending comprises about 25% of the national GDP. So 25% hole in our economy has been the state of things during this government shutdown. So this is why the markets have been soft. But imagine when they open up, we get the next FOMC meeting, Fed rate cut. We have quantitative tightening ending, and we have the business cycle looking like it's coming to a bottom. Guys, I don't think people are prepared. I think the real part, the fun part of the bull market is going to be coming in 2026. And a lot of people that have been absolutely banking on this 4-year cycle, to be exact, I think there's going to be a lot of people left holding the bag.
To me, like, if you have money on the side to pay your bills, like if you're in the altcoin market, I'm going to stay away from Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoiners are doing well. If you're in the altcoin market and you have, like, I don't know, 50% of your stuff allocated there, if you don't need to go, if you have enough money on the sidelines to go ahead and pay for your bills, then you shouldn't be worried, right? Because I do also believe, quarter one of 2026, I think we just go berserk. I really do have that. And that's just a gut feeling. Yeah, I've looked at numbers and I've looked at papers, but I really do feel in quarter one of 2026, I think that's when the fun begins for this side. You know, do we? I still can't wrap my head around it. We're gonna end a bull market with no altcoin run, with Ethereum really not doing anything. Like Ethereum really didn't do shit. Like when you look at it,
I mean, the ETH to Bitcoin pairing. This is crazy. The ETH to Bitcoin pairing, technically, meaning how is ETH performing comparatively with Bitcoin? It has effectively been in a downtrend since really back here in December 2021. Even with this little run up here, we have not even broken beyond the previous range lows here. So, I mean, we haven't gotten that run. And this is while, by the way, mind you, May 2023 to now, there's a 1,000% increase in the stablecoin transaction flows on Ethereum. 1,000%. Banks are getting involved. Institutions are getting involved. Swift is about to go live, just I think November 22nd with Chainlink, and I think they're doing some integrations with Linnea as well. I think what everybody missed is that once institutions are here, they thought that means absolute pump season. In reality, institutions finally got the green light to integrate. And so what we're seeing is a massive amount of development and scrambling on the back end with those institutional players and big money players. And because no new retail is really flooding into the markets right now, there's been a softening of this. And now this is compounding with coming into when the 4-year cycle is supposed to be over. At the same time, we have a government shutdown. So it's doubly convincing people the market's over. And I think what does the market do? Every market, most often, it wrecks the most people. So the fact that all these sort of tourists, and I'm sorry to say it, if you're selling here, you are a tourist, because when you see where this is going in the next, 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, who the hell cares if it's drops 2%, 4%, 8%? Do you all realize it doesn't even matter what chart I look at? If we come back here to let's go to a little bit cleaner chart. Back here in 2017, there was 11 moves of 15% or greater dips. 8 of those moves were 25 to 40% crashes. And here we are over here right now. If we look at the chart as it stands right now, let's see what that move is. Currently, this is, what is this, a dip for babies? This is what we see in every market correction. Come on, are we tourists here? Are we here to make some money? And in order to make money in a market where everybody is becoming aware of it, you have to endure some of these dips. Look, retrace back to previous range high. Great. Retrace back right into the meat of all this. This is at the same time that we're seeing on the daily. We see the RSI is kind of posturing to get back above this 50 line. The MACD is about to cross back bullishly, showing the momentum wave is starting to sort of shift here. I don't think people are prepared, man. And this, even if we're only thinking about altcoins, this is going to be a driving factor of the risk confidence in the rest of the space. So if Bitcoin does break out, gets back above about 118, especially breaks new highs, I think we're going to see the altcoins start to go ballistic. Especially NVIDIA, look at what it's been doing. AMD, look at what it's been doing. Look at the U.S. government, Donald Trump, taking positions in strategic different tech companies. The writing's on the wall. I don't think they're going to do anything to let the market do anything but run hot all the way into the midterms.
I think he's going to make it run hot until he gets out. That to me, that I know, like, people are like, what do you mean? But I really believe in my heart that he wants to leave as the greatest president ever, and one that literally fixed the markets and made them boom, right? And I feel like for the next 4 years, that's what you'll have. A lot of people disagree with me. So I want to take your take. Two questions, because I know you have to go. By the way, Kelly has a show. Follow him. He has his own show starting at what, 2:25?
No, it's already started, but my compadre's running it right now. So I'll hop off this. Yeah,
he's gonna hop off, and you can go ahead and head over to his show and catch some good alpha over there. Does Bitcoin drop under 100?
I think we still have a little bit of room to the downside. This is because of the funding rates. The funding rates still haven't really flipped negative, meaning everybody's going short, so it costs money to go short. The majority are still going long. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this kind of tap back down, maybe into, the 99, 98, 97, potentially even there is a CME gap down about 92,000. But I think it's all a setup for higher. And I'm not set on that actually happening. I think we have the conditions right now with the looming government shutdown coming to an end that this may chop in here for a second and then start to wiggle up. But just so you know, I've had this box on this chart for a month or two, and about where I thought this market was going to reverse, very similar to this box I had on the chart starting back here about where I thought the market was going to have that next leg up. And so we're kind of coming into that same territory right now. I think anything at this price level or lower, and I'll even show it to you on this chart right here. I've had this drawn for, 9 months. And this is what did we just dip into? But the gift from God buy zone tapped right into it. So surprising that we're hitting it. But I'm looking higher, man. I'm looking up into these zones for the cycle top sometime in next year.
When do you think this will? This is the last question, and I appreciate you making it onto the program. When do you think? What quarter? We're not holding you to it. You don't have to say it either. But when do you think, in your honest opinion, guesstimate this all pops off in quarter in 2026?
What time does you mean? When is it going to start the run, or when is it going to?
When do you feel like we'll see some sort of upwards movement in 26? Is it quarter one, quarter two?
If I had to guess right now, because the way it seems like the government shutdown talks are happening, I think it's likely we could still get a new high before the end of the year.
Okay.
I think there's going to be a few month period between now and February where people who cannot wrap their mind around that the 4-year cycle isn't in play. So I do think there's going to be a little bit of push pull of the sort of rotation in the market of buying and selling and hedging and all this. But I think I would say in March through May, I think could be pretty good. I think we'll have a little soft summer, and it's all questions going to be about what's happening. Here, David, the question's going to be in 2026. Is it going to be an absolute banana nutcase syndrome again of every day being the most bullish day on the planet met with the following day with the most bizarre tweets from Trump? Because it's just been ping ponging back and forth of we're going to be millionaires in 3 days. And it's like, man, I need to sell everything. It's like, this has been a global restructuring year. So hopefully next year, if it's not so much of that, I think it could be a very, very bullish for these markets.
Kelly, I want to thank you for coming on here. You are hyped as fuck. Guys, tune into his show. It's playing right now. It's on YouTube, right? Am I
YouTube,
right?
X. It'll also, it's multi-stream, so it'll be playing through my X account as well at Kelly Kellum, like you see there on my name deal.
And we'll tag him. We'll also tag him so you can go ahead and check him out. Kelly, I really appreciate you coming on. Hopefully you can come on some other time and we can go ahead and chat up the markets in the next few weeks.
Yeah, man, let's do this regularly. It's thanks for having me on, and keep up the good work, my friend.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you, man.
All right. Adios, my friend.
That was Kelly. Kelly, man, that guy's a busy man, man. That guy's a busy man. Man is running all over the place, hosting shows, spaces, YouTube. Hey. Shout out to the real personalities out here creating content, creating some value, okay? We all bring some sort of value to the goddamn space. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the Breakdown, episode 615. That's right, 615. Let me read this real quick. Hold on. I got to read this before we go to a commercial break. Let me read this, man. I'm proud of myself. And we don't have all the numbers in, by the way. We do not have all the numbers in. Don't have all the numbers in. Hold on. The show numbers. We don't have all the show numbers in, by the way. But let me go ahead and pull that up. Kelly's energy was fucking crazy. You quoted Kelly's energy? That motherfucker was. I gotta ask him if he drinks coffee, if he takes caffeine, if he's on Red Bull, bro. That dude he was ready. He wasn't sleeping. He was ready. Okay, where's the goddamn thing, man? Where's the goddamn thing? Where's the goddamn post? Shout out to Landy, my boy Landy. Shout out to my boy Landy. I love Landy. No Diddy. I love Landy. No baby oil. All right. Here's the update on the David Gottstein expansion. That's what we're calling it. The David Gottstein expansion. That's what we're calling it. That's right. All right. So in the past few weeks, it has been insane. The past few weeks have been insane. So across all platforms, my total audience has grown from 2.1 million to now 2.41 million in just 3 weeks. Ladies and gentlemen, The Breakdown, produced by Gottstein Media, pulled in 1.4 million plus viewers across all channels in a single week. Even with a 2-day TikTok ban and some platforms still being set up. That's right. We're still trying to set up Facebook and Instagram, and I got a huge following on Instagram and still trying to set that shit up. I'm now streaming on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, X, Rumble, Twitch, and Kick. Instagram Live and Facebook Live are next on deck. Last week's guest, the lineup was unreal. So shout out to the lineup. I'm naming out. Grant Cardone was on. Man, y'all know how I feel about Grant. We had Vic on from Cake Wallet. Okay, Vic from Cake Wallet. And he's been building for a long time, man. Shout out to Vic. We had Charles Hoskinson on, okay, from Cardano/Midnight. We had Luca. Luca was on, right? Luca from Pudgy Penguins. Round of applause. And then we had Andrew P. from Nobody Sausage and Clay and everything else that they're goddamn doing. Shout out to them. And I think we had some more people on. I'm forgetting, and it's disrespectful. But thank you to all the guests that have appeared. We have a whole lineup coming this week and next week and beyond. And I hope you guys continue to tune in. We got a lot to talk about. Proudly sponsored and I'm partnered with Gemini, which is the greatest exchange in the world. That's right. Partnered with the greatest exchange in the world, Gemini. Check out the link. Click the link, okay? Trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. By the way, if you'd like to appear on the show, send me a DM. Let's see if we can make that happen. All right? Let's see. I like to bring on a lot of guests. A lot of guests. You don't have to be notable. I just want the conversation to be interesting. But obviously, inside the crypto space, outside the crypto space, that's what we're doing. I'm telling you, stay tuned, subscribe, follow, have the notifications on. You're going to really enjoy it. So what's next for DG's brand? New York. Why did I say New York? New YouTube channel going up shortly. So we're working on the new YouTube channel. All right. The website launching in the next 2 weeks. My personal website's going up in the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. The newsletter rolls out. The newsletter is rolling out either this week or next week. So when you see that drop, you better subscribe, man. There's going to be some really good shit in it. I promise you, man. I'm not going to deliver bullshit. Everything that I'm going to come out with and moving forward, like it's just going to be top notch. Or I am going to give 500, 600% to making sure that it's top notch. The merch store is coming out. So Pause Market t-shirts. I know you guys have been dying for the Pause Market t-shirts. Those things are going to be coming out. Caps and all that. Scullies. I don't know. My face on a goddamn t-shirt because you know you want to rock me. The clips that we've been doing. Shout out to M, my editor. He's a genius, okay? And he stays up until like 3-4 o'clock in the morning to get all these things done. He's doing clips. We're putting clips out there right now. Like I haven't been able, and the team hasn't been able to tally up everything, but it's right now with the few clips that we have put out there from X, 900 to 1 million views. Now that might sound low, but again, that's just X. It's not everything combined. Like if you look at my TikTok, it's crazy. But let's keep going here. This is just the beginning. By the way, in that very link, you can go ahead and look at the link to Gemini to sign up. Trade $1,000 in crypto, get $100 in Bitcoin. You can also go ahead and check out the credit card section on Gemini. Go ahead and do that. Check out that as you can go ahead and get 4% back in Bitcoin, XRP, or Solana. And the last thing I left on this, I started laughing. I was like, can you thank you for the support, haters included. Thank you for the support, the haters included. Because honestly speaking, my haters, even though they don't speak in the chats and both sides of these chats right now, they don't speak. The only reason why they don't speak is because they're watching and they're praying for my downfall, but that downfall is not coming. My frenemies, I know who you are, and on my enemies, I appreciate you. I want you to show up every single day, and I want you to watch this nonstop from 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 2. And even though it's already 2:21, I still want you to be here looking at this gorgeous face and saying, God damn it, why him? It was a cool tweet that I was reading today. So I'm reading the comments, some of them, and this guy says, I could tell you that X is pushing you. I'm not following you, but I do tend to reply to some of your stuff, but you are always in my For You feed on here. So I said, sorry for the inconvenience. But ladies and gentlemen, this is only the beginning. I've never felt more passion for this. I've always been passionate about podcasting and coming out here and talking about crypto and blockchain and how it works and how it operates and what things we should be looking at and getting into. But now, like after 2 to 3 years of babysitting, having people disrespect me, and I sat back and I watched this and sometimes didn't see it happening. Now that I had the time of about 6 to 8 weeks to go ahead and sit back and understand the game plan, I am ready, and I am so feeling like I'm fucking back. And anybody can get that belt to ass. Let's fucking go. Number one fucking podcast out here. We'll be back after this commercial break. That's right. This commercial is sponsored by Gemini. Too bad there's not a voiceover. This is for a Bitcoin credit card issue from WebBank. That's right, WebBank is who issues these Bitcoin credit cards from Gemini, the XRP card, and also the Solana card, and more. Go to gemini.com/David G to go ahead and look at the selection of credit cards. Okay, go ahead and go look. That's right. Go look. I got people telling me to center myself. Bro, listen, I honestly just had the camera angle wrong today. All right. I must have hit it a little bit and then it adjusts correctly. Yo, Mar, shut the fuck up. Okay? Shut up, Mar. Shut up. Okay. Nobody asked you for your opinion, Mar. A lot of people, by the way, I just want to say this once again, because a lot of people have asked me this question. I don't do spaces anymore. Okay. I don't do spaces no more. The reason why I don't do X spaces no more is because it's a waste of time. It gives you free access to me, and I'm money. You understand? Like when you can't have free access to me. Okay, you can't just come on stage and talk to me. That devalues me and my brand. So like, no, I don't want to have spaces with a bunch of people that just want to argue and talk shit and fuck around and then not find out. Like, I'm not interested in that. I've gone back to my roots, and that is like, let's go ahead and chop it up with some real notable people. Let's talk about crypto. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's talk about the markets. Okay, let's not just talk about crypto markets. Let's talk about TradFi as well. Have some people coming on from that neck of the woods. Let's also talk about sports and some other shit that I personally like. Now, I don't know. Me and Grant are going to sit down and do a one-on-one. I don't know if it's Miami. I don't know if it's New York. We shall see. But these are the things that I want to do also with the podcast, which will drop. And I'm praying that it drops in November. Okay. I really do. I pray that it drops in November. I think look, everybody's dropping a goddamn podcast, right? Everybody and their grandmother got a podcast. I ain't trying to be like everybody and their grandma. I'm just going to try to deliver an honest conversation that you guys will fuck with and it'll resonate with you. Okay. I know I got that energy that you guys love. I got that New York energy and we keep it 100, right? You know, maybe we'll have a podcast in a bootleg ass broken down Honda Civic. Okay. That's driving on its last legs. And there's like, the engine's about to explode and we're just driving, and the smoke coming out and we're just talking while we're choking. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I'm just saying. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys, especially I'm getting so many messages about people wanting to be a part of the DG brand. I appreciate all the inquiries, and I shout out to the partner. There are people that are also sending emails about partnerships. Shout out to those who acknowledge greatness. That's right. Who see greatness. Stop calling me Mandani, okay? Stop calling me Mandani, bro. Stop it. Anyway, shout out to Trump. Landy sent me something. He was like, Trump is trolling. And I look, and Trump is really trolling, waving from a McDonald's window. That's right. The government is open, ladies and gentlemen. It will be opening up in the next 36 hours. You will have the House working because Speaker Johnson's going to put that belt to ass. That's right. Make America great again. The Democrats have absolutely no clue why they closed down the goddamn government. They have no clue why they, who is it? Senator Tim Kaine had no clue why a CR was not passed. When approached by reporters, he had absolutely no fucking clue. But he voted on the right side. That's right. Pun intended. He voted on the right side. And now the government will be open for business. There are talks that former federal employees or government employees will be getting their jobs back. Hopefully, a lot of these people who have not received a paycheck will be reimbursed for the days that they have not been paid for. And guess what? When that $2,000 tariff rebate gets sent back to those who actually need it, $75,000 and under, when they finally get that back, retail will come back into these markets and we are going to have a good time. Come on, let's celebrate. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we'll be having here. We'll have a good time. Celebrate good times. Come on, let's celebrate now. Rate cuts. We're hearing rumors, rate cuts. It might be 0.50 before the end of the year. 0.50 rate cut is in play before the end of the year. What happens if that actually comes to fruition? What happens? What happens? What happens? Also, what else? What else? 0.50 money printing, which I hate, but it will happen. They will print money. Quarter 1 is going to be a movie, okay? And if it's and hopefully it's a good movie. Hopefully it's a good movie and not straight to DVD. Okay, that's all I can say. Hopefully it's a good movie and not straight to DVD. That's it. That's all I can say. Anyway, we'll be right back with the. I got my phones in my hand. Like, it's ringing. We'll be back with the quote of the day. Here's the quote of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And again, thank you for tuning in. This show will be 2 hours. I think next week we'll start 2 hours, or the week after that. Maybe it starts in December. Maybe it does start in December. Because I want to make time for all the guests. But we have a lot of guests that do want to come on, a lot of personalities that do want to come on and talk on this very program, one of the highest rated programs on social media. That's right. I'm very happy about that. We are going to we're going to chop this up and we're going to put this out there on Apple and Spotify for those who can't tune in to the video action here. All right. I know a lot of people can't tune into the live streams. A lot of people that's why people like X Spaces for that very reason. They can, still do their work and they can put the ear pod in anyway. Quote of the day. Paint me however you want. Label me, judge me, twist the story if you must. But understand this, once you insult me, disrespect me, or lie on my name, the damage is done. You can't do all that and still expect me to want to be around you. I don't care who you are. I will cut ties with people who have zero accountability. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how I'm feeling. I feel like it's me against the world. Like, I literally feel that way, and I love being in this position. I thank everybody. Episode 615, The Breakdown, sponsored by Gemini. Go visit Gemini. Use my link to visit Gemini and sign up to get $100 in Bitcoin after trading $1,000 in crypto. Gemini.com/David G. Check out the lineup of credit cards. GNN, Gokhshtein Media, produces this show, which is I produce this show. We have people also, hold up. But we have people who do go ahead and give you all these wonderful graphics and put together lovely clips. Shout out to M. Moogie is my guy. Moogie is my guy in the back that helps me with everything. Shout out to Moogie. And shout out to the intern on the Gokhshtein account. Guys, you can tune in right now into Hotep Jesus Live. He's on Kick. You can go ahead and tune in. He made a video about Candace Owens, talking about her and how she's unstable. Go ahead and see what he's up to. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am out. And don't forget to go to Gemini.com/David G to check out the new lineup of Gemini credit cards issued by WebBank. You have the Bitcoin credit card, you have the XRP credit card, and you also have the Solana credit card and more. Again, check those cards out. 4% back, forget points, 4% back in Bitcoin, XRP, or Solana. Again, Gemini.com/David